Hey guys, it's Greg. In this video I want to share with you our thoughts about Runar from Ludus Magnus Studio. We had a chance to play the game during this year's Essence Spiel, so we already played it on a fair and also in our home. And in this video we are going to show you components and our impressions. What do we think about the game and what you can expect from this upcoming title, which is going to be on a crowdfunding platform this month, I think. So if you're interested in this new title from Ludus Magnus Studio, just check out this video.
In general, we love skirmish games, but most of them require too much preparation with team building, not to mention complex rules, often with many exceptions or extra conditions. And in the end, you are staying with one, maybe two skirmish games, afraid to invest too much time and cash into another one. Runar meets this need by offering a low entry level and very short preparation to start the game, without taking away too much from general experience offered by other big skirmish games. Every rule that could be streamlined without affecting the deepness of the game was made easier here. And even with stuff like terrain elements on the board, it's still a game that can be easily introduced to less experienced players. This approach is even more important here because there is plenty of things you can do during your turn, from building the statues or simply attacking opponents through throwing and pushing, to collecting shards and moving traps, or even fighting with neutral enemies. Not to mention fulfilling the missions. It sounds like a lot, but trust me on this, Runar is very easy to learn. Runar consists of several scenarios combined into a competitive campaign, where players are going to fight through 5 of them from 10 available. When the first and final scenarios are always the same, the middle ones differ according to the choices made by winners of the previous chapters. This is a very fresh approach to this kind of genre, allowing players, after losing the scenario, to seek redemption during the next ones. Middle scenarios vary when it comes to setup and a few other aspects explained later in this review, keeping them fresh every time you play the game. This is probably my favorite part of the game. We got plenty of heroes, each totally unique, focusing on different kinds of playstyles, from straightforward tanky Fema, dealing more damage on some occasions, through Arne specializing in traps, to Helga being able to collect shards from distance and manage their position on the board. In the prototype we have 12 heroes, but I'm almost sure more will be unlocked or available during the campaign. Tough to pick one? Don't worry, your warband is going to consist of 3 such heroes. And when the rulebook recommends particular combinations for the first session, after this you can combine heroes as you want. To spice up the gameplay and provide more replayability, Runar introduces a few more things to help with developing our heroes. First of all, we have items representing equipment and gear to boost heroes in the game. Items you can buy, like armor of the Jotunn granting immunity to danger tokens on the map, or Mark of Heimdall, allowing to move without spending any cubes for it. Artifacts are a stronger version of the items, not possible to be bought, available only as the price for completing the scenario. So for example, you can even wield a sword of soldier. Last but not least is the possibility to level up your hero, where after each scenario you need to pick one of your characters and advance them from explorer to legend level, providing passive abilities and more skills to activate by matching the right symbols on the action cards. By combining these 3 aspects, we are allowed to create even more unique warbands and changing their playstyles through the campaign, making each scenario even more unique. During the game, from time to time, events are going to be drawn, affecting the situation on the table and even the whole session. Each event card consists of 2 parts. The upper one may include setback, an effect that immediately affects the game as written and is then no longer taken into the account, or enhancements applied at the beginning of each turn or for the entire duration of the game. The lower part of the event cards represent new missions, common for all players, granting a chance to score more points. This way, new missions are introduced during the session, forcing the player to adjust their strategies to score more points. It's a simple solution, reminding goals from Super Fantasy Brawl, but this way sessions are much more dynamic and tight. The playing game could be a bit too simplistic for some, and that's why the designers introduced neutral enemies, bringing havoc to the table, affecting all of the players, messing up our plans, and also giving another opportunity for extra rewards. The nemesis is an opponent for all players who will attempt to defeat the heroes and win a game. This addition changes the dynamic of the game drastically, not only providing another level of strategy to the game, but also forcing players to cooperate from time to time while trying to have more VP than opponents. Activation of Nemesis is very intuitive, and despite quite complex behavior, it does not stop the game and it does not disturb the fast pace in general. In the prototype, we have 3 types of enemies. The weakest one, Berserk, focusing on attacking the players. The stronger one, Heedless Finney, I think I'm pronouncing this properly, pushing the players, and Yars, the most difficult to slay enemies, not only attacking but pushing the players as well. The quality and design of the minions is excellent as always with the game from Ludus Magnus, but this time they have outdone themselves. The comic style of the game combined with a specific approach to minis cast created not only something very refreshing on the table, but also very enjoyable to watch. Our favorite is definitely Eric the SharkGuy, and there wasn't a player at our table who didn't want him on his team. But the rest of the heroes and neutral enemies looks great as well, and if you are into painting, you are going to love every mini here. Let's hope during the campaign we are going to unlock some more great stuff. For some this will be a good thing, for some it could be a con. Although Rune is close to skirmish in its nature, it's very low aggressive for this genre. With options to collect shards and build statues, for example, there is no mandatory to damage other players or push them to traps, although it helps to balance the overall strategy more. Even if you are going to focus mostly on damaging other heroes, it is still resolved quite peacefully. There is no dice rolling where you can wipe out opponent instantly. Your aim is to focus on common goals and other ways to score more points, and reducing the health of your opponents is only one of several tools you can use. Also, your heroes cannot die during the session, so there is no player elimination in the game. Designers implemented a mechanic where the player with the lowest position on the score track decides where to put the shards once there is a destiny card drawn, requiring to return shards to the board. This kind of card is the most common one in the event deck, helping with the flow of the game and it's fast-paced. However, during each of our 3 sessions with the game, for the most part of the game, the same player was always last on the score track, which means he was always deciding what to put where. I'm not sure if there's a way to change this while still offering some handicap for the weakest player, but it feels quite repetitive if always the same person has this power. As usual, we do not score the prototypes because a lot can still change, but let's sum up our thoughts about the game so far. If you are looking for a streamlined, fast-paced skirmish experience, then Runar is a very good pick for you. Its low aggressive nature allows the game to be appreciated by more types of board gamers, yet plenty of room for planning ahead and building different tactics will satisfy veterans. The prototype we had requires final touch with some rules, but ultimately it seems Runar is going to be at the very top of the list of games by Ludus Magnus. That's all for today, see you at the next game and don't forget to subscribe our channel.